and welcome everyone. Hi, my name is Casey Pacheco, and I am the host of Meet the Experts. And this is a spot where we are redefining expertise by highlighting people, their stories, organizations, and their impact. And today we have a very special guest coming on. Her name is Prisca Benson, and I'm going to invite her in. Welcome, welcome. Hi,
Hey
Prisca.
Casey. Hey Casey.
Hi, welcome. I am so excited. You're here talking about one of my favorite things, money. We all want some more money. We
Yes.
all want to know how to get better at our money. So I'm really, really excited to have you here. You are a nurse. This is education. We are not official financial consultants, but we're just having a real, genuine conversation and we're sharing it to help our fellow nurses,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So, Presca, tell us a little bit about your career, your nursing career, because we're nurses.
Yes. So I graduated in 2011 from Rutgers. Are you rah? Okay. And, I've my career I've done a lot of different things. I started off in med-surg tele, then went on to doing neuro. I did a little bit of home infusion, some home care, both inpatient and outpatient. So I've done a lot of different things. I've even done some teaching. So my career I've done a lot of different things. I like to try stuff,
Yeah.
The one thing I like to share is that like early in my nursing career, I almost said I gotta go, right? Not for nursing as a
Well,
whole,
tell
but
me.
my first nursing job was so rough.
Oh,
The day I got off orientation, they gave me 9 patients.
oh
And I
my
was
God.
like, wow, okay. And I basically suffered for the next 6 months. And I almost quit until someone I still consider near and dear to me, because I feel like this made such an impact on my career. She said,
Mhm.
don't quit. It's too early. You won't be able to, get another job. You don't have enough experience. She's like, go per diem instead. And I literally went per diem for the rest of my career up until I have the job that I have now as a navigator.
Wow, that's amazing. But you know what? I love per diem. But that was such good advice,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes you don't know and you get so
Yep.
frustrated. And a lot of nurses are walking out. So that was
Hmm.
really good advice. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I know you love nursing and you're a little bit conservative side talking about money, but I know that you did something with your own finances that a lot of nurses would really love to hear. You mind sharing your story about like how what you did with your money?
Yes, sure. So just for a little bit of background, I'm Haitian
Mhm.
American. So I grew up with the money principles that, of an immigrant child.
Mhm.
However, that is a little bit different than what we need as somebody growing up here, which of course I was not cognizant about.
Mhm.
So when I graduated from nursing school, to me, that was like the solution to any of the money feeling tight. It's like, that's that,
Girl.
freedom, you know,
Yeah.
like you're rich.
Yeah.
And then
But you're
I,
not.
no, that's the thing. I was making more income than both my parents combined, at such a young age. And so to me, like that was the answer to everything, right? And so, with college came when, where things were tight. But after college, things should get better, but it really didn't. And I wasn't necessarily stressed about it per se, because to me, I just felt like what life was. My cars were always maxed out. I actually bought 2 cars the first year out of college.
Girl, two cars?
Not two. I didn't have them both at the same time, but I
Okay.
went and bought a new car because that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a
Oh,
nurse now.
okay.
And then during my first maintenance, they let me borrow a car, while I was getting maintained, and I was like, oh, I like this one, and so I traded that in. This one.
Yeah, because they tried to talk you into getting the upgrade.
Listen, there and nobody was like, "Do you sure you want to do that?" No, they're
Um,
here to take your money. They're good. And then my first 403B, when I left that job, I cashed that out. I was like, to me, it was so little. I was like, what's this going to do? Now I know what it could do. So basically, I was like, I had no real intention, no real vision for my money. And then my first kind of wake up call that, hey, something should be different was actually when I got married 2 years later from graduating nursing school. And my husband could do stuff with his paychecks, but all my paychecks were like going to like Visa and MasterCard in them. And I was like, a
Oh,
concept. like being able to keep some of your money. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. So we started to be a little bit more intentional, but we knew stuff more on the saving side and not so much on the wealth building side. And it's not like we were completely ignorant to needing to do this. We, looked into different, like I think we even met with a financial advisor at some point, but it was in 2018 when I was like, my net worth doesn't feel like that of a nurse because, the nurse assumes rich. And I'm like, I have good savings, but it's not looking voluptuous. You know what I'm saying?
I like that voluptuous girl.
So I started listening to personal finance podcasts and I came across these concepts like maxing out your retirement and like your Roth IRA and savings rates. And I was like, I've never heard of these things ever in my life. And so I started to like apply the things that I was hearing. And even then, I wasn't sure that this was something I would ever actually accomplish. I was just like, as long as I do some of this, I'll be in a better state than I am today. And it's remarkable, actually, different state that I am today, because the first 7 years of my career, my investments were like from 0 to 40K. But the second half of my career is like 40 to over 440K. And it wasn't like something like crazy amazing that I did. I didn't do anything except create a budget that works for me and put it on repeat. And every paycheck, I follow this budget. It takes me like 10 to 20 minutes to implement every paycheck, and then I go about my life.
Wow. Now, some people find a budget is like really restrictive. How did you find how did you get a budget to actually work? Because we all have budgets, it's following it.
Yes. Yes. And I think the thing is people a lot of times look for like a budget that's out there and try to fit their life into it. And I go the opposite way. I look at how is my life looking now, and then like see what I can make sense for my goals, right? So it has nothing to do with what somebody might think about what I'm spending. What someone like, let's say the 50-30-20 rule, right? Where it's like, but what if my life doesn't fit that doesn't make me a failure. Okay. But I will find some way, like whatever works for me. My number might be 60, 20, 10, like who knows, like it's 60, 20, 20. So you just have to find a way to make it work for you. And that could be a challenge because a lot of people first don't want to even look at what they're doing with their money.
Yes.
You need to be able to do that in order to create a budget that actually fits your life.
Yes. Prisca, I'm so happy that you're talking about this. I remember when I finished nursing school, I looked everywhere. I was like, somebody needs to help me figure out finances. Because I grew up in Trinidad. It's a different country, different way of dealing with money. And nobody could tell me. And, of course, you don't go to the bank. Nobody could help you there. You don't make enough money. So not until last year when I became an insurance agent and started studying for my securities that I find out about all these resources.
Yeah.
But most people don't. And then you have HR, but then it doesn't really it doesn't click.
Not the same.
It's not the same. So I'm saying this to say the value that you're bringing now that you are a coach, you actually help other nurses do this.
Yes.
Tell me about
Yeah, so like when I first started learning these concepts in 2018, the excitement I got from like learning it, like just learning something new was so infectious. Like where I would speak to like when money conversations came up now at work, like I had something to say, I had something to add to the conversation. And then I realized that there was a gap because I'm excited to talk about it because this is new to me, but I didn't realize how new these concepts were to a lot of people. And so I'm like helping people do budgets at the nurse's station or like talk about like, oh, make sure you put a beneficiary on your 403B, all these things. And I'm like, wow, like it didn't occur to me that because I knew growing up as an immigrant child, like the reason I didn't know this was because my parents didn't know this.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that in general, a lot of people lack this knowledge. And I hate to see nurses overworking just to make ends meet when most of the time, it's just about maximizing what you have.
Yes. I love how you say maximizing what you have. What I tell a lot when I do coaching, because I do holistic coaching, and I tell them, this is a word I want you to remember, allocation. How is your time allocated? How is your money allocated? Because even if you have savings or whatever, if you haven't allocated those for the 401k or the 403,
Mm-hmm.
if they're not allocated in the right stocks, maybe you're too conservative, you're probably not going to be making, you're not going to see the growth on your investments. So
Agreed.
you have to know how everything is allocated. But the first
Mm-hmm.
step in allocation is watching where your money is
Mm-hmm.
coming and watching where it's going. And
Yep.
that's sometimes the hardest. We have those. I'm telling you, I've been guilty where you just pile the envelopes up and then you don't want to watch those statements. What would you tell a nurse if they're like just so scared because they're just so overwhelmed? Maybe they just went travel nursing because they're just so fed up of all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell that nurse in that state? Could you help them?
Yes. And
Okay.
so I think that's actually the perfect situation to get help, because facing your money is something that's a must, right? With any situation, same way, like when we have our patients who don't want to acknowledge what's going on and they just get sicker and they get sicker, like you don't want that to be your case. So
Yeah.
it's really important for you to start by like knowing you need to do this. But if somehow it gives you anxiety, some people, it gives them the willies to even look at their finances, like it's a
Mhm.
great time to get support. If you do manage to somehow like come to grips with it, like, hey, I know I want to do something, so I have to. Like an easy way to get started is to like download a budgeting app, because that way it's less overwhelming to me than to like go to all your different credit cards and
Yeah.
to like try to consolidate them. Like you, once you
Sure.
log into this thing, it puts them all in one place, and that way you can look at it and then make a decision as to what you want to do.
Okay.
Now, deciding what you want to do is also a different thing that coaching can help with.
Hmm.
But like in general, like you need to know what's happening right now with your finances in order to make any improvements.
I love that. And I love the fact that, some people, they really do need a coach because they got all the
Mhm.
apps, but they ain't opened them, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to, sometimes that's my next A word, accountability.
Yes.
Sometimes people need that accountability. Sometimes
Yeah.
they need to know, okay, Prisca's going to call me. She's going to ask me what I've been spending. And it ain't going to look too good. So maybe I really should get my stuff together. So I love
Yeah.
to do this for the nurses. I love it, love it, love it. And you know what, Prisca, I really appreciate you because you say, you know what, I am a nurse. You're both. Now, question for you. Now that
Hmm.
you're a money coach, this is kind of like a venture into the entrepreneur world
Hmm.
because now you have a business.
Yes.
What advice would you give for the nurse entrepreneurs out there where, when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you don't have that steady income. And some of them, some of us, we work and we have a business, but some
Hmm.
nurse entrepreneurs, they're full-fledged, they're out there, right? And I was there too. And sometimes you have clients and sometimes you don't. What would you
Hmm.
tell them to help them with their budgeting or money?
So with anyone with variable income, entrepreneurs or employees alike, the main thing I try to do with my clients is we find like what I call like a base budget, right? So
Okay.
when you know kind of what your minimum you could expect every month, like you average, like if you look, okay, the last 12 months, this is how much I made, and this is the smallest I made. Okay, let's try to use that money to cover all the necessary stuff.
Oh, I
And
love.
then every time you have extra, you can put it kind of aside for the times that you need it. Or if you all you need is your base budget, then those are the times that you could like fund your extra stuff, like where you could put like more money towards a vacation that you're looking to plan, or more money towards, a down payment for a house. Like these are times you could use to propel your money goals.
Yes, I really, really love this, Priska, because I think it can apply for so many people who are not even just nurses, just people
Mhm.
on the outside who have this variable income.
Yes.
I just want to say, Ashley, she says, so awesome. Hey, Ashley, thank you for coming in live. We appreciate you. I just really appreciate what you're doing, Priska, because I'm not sure if you know, but there's a group of nurses, and I love them to pieces. They
Hmm.
form a commission for nurse reimbursement. And when
Oh,
I
nice.
saw they did that, I said, yes, nurses should be paid more, because inflation is going up really, really fast,
Yep.
right? And that's something we're going to talk about. But I also thought, yes, but if you look at the pay scale of the entry level all the way to the
Hmm.
execs, we kind of fall kind of in the middle, you know?
Yes.
So what I have seen, and I know myself, is not only do we need to advocate for nurses to get paid more, but we also should advocate for nurses to be more educated on how to
Yes.
use their finance, because we have what is called bleeding heart syndrome.
Mhm.
We want to help everybody, and if you're listening to me and you are a nurse, tell me I'm lying. You know I'm saying the truth. Nurses, we love to help people, whether it's our patients, they come in, they're homeless, we got to get them food, the children ain't got no clothes, then you go into the community, and then you the church mother, and you got all the people in the church you're helping,
Yeah.
and then everybody coming to you because they know you got a job and you got a heart, and you end up helping everybody, and before you know, your paycheck is gone. So
Yeah.
what advice will you give for the nurses with the bleeding heart syndrome, whether it's for their boyfriend or for their grandma? Tell me.
Mine is the boyfriend though. I don't know about that. Because I've seen way too many dollars just go to bird with the boyfriends. But
Girl, we're gonna have to talk about that separately.
and I was one of them. But anyway,
It's
um,
real.
yes. But one of the things that's important, first off, I just want to back up and say that not only is this an issue with nurses in general, it's especially an issue for women, because women, we're caretakers, and even more so an issue for, I feel, immigrant women or child of immigrant people, because we have a sense of duty to the family who brought us here, and and taking care of them. And then of course there's a Sanders generation, people who take care of our parents, and also may have children as well. So all these people, they're all usually in the same boat, where it's like they feel like their funds are going everywhere. So one thing that's important is, if you do want, first of all, I think it's to set boundaries around your money. You can't help people if you're drained, right? And that's something that we talk a lot about in nursing now too, is about trying to prevent burnout, because nurses are leaving in droves because they're not filling their own cup. And so that was kind of a interesting thing to navigate, as being basically the first person to make this kind of money in my family, to hey, just because I technically have it doesn't mean I have it. Okay. It is set aside for a goal, so, but it's harder for you to say no to people if you haven't set those boundaries, right? Where, okay, I am making money, yes, but this money is for this set purpose.
Yeah.
And so one is this actual setting of the boundaries, letting people know that your pockets are not their pockets, right? Very kindly, of course. But then also actually setting goals for your money, so that it's easier for you to say, I ain't got it. Okay. And the third, I would say, is, if giving is that important to you and you have the space to do it, and you could always create the space. It's something we could work on together if you wanted to. But if you don't have the space and if you do have the space and you want to give, make that a line item in your budget. This is my giving fund, or whatever you want to call it, but make it on purpose.
I love it. This is perfect. So this is what I have here. I put set boundaries. You wanna have, hold on. You wanna set boundaries. You want to budget it if it is important to you, and you want to make it a goal. Have goals, so that not everybody who comes to ask you, you're always just giving it out.
Just available. Yeah.
Thank you, Prisca. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is such a valuable conversation, and I am pretty sure I'm going to have you back on, Prisca, because we really need to talk about this. I just want to, Kim, she says, so much great information here. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Kim, for joining in. We appreciate you so much. If nurses are looking at this and they're like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful, please share it. Share it with your friends, because I think, this is just me, but I think a financially empowered nurse is so strong enough to financially empower our community.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we are such powerhouses of help. And I agree with you. I have these financial classes in my community, and I have doctors who come in, and they are so drained because of that sandwich. They're taking care of kids, they're taking care of parents who are sick, and so they're resources are eaten up so quickly. And then a lot of times people, finances is something you have to trust because everybody want to help you, but they may have their own agenda. So if you
Mm-hmm.
see that, like, I think nurses becoming finance, um, speaking about finances, we
Yep.
already have the public's trust, but how do you know who to trust? Some people, they're just selling a product, just,
Yeah.
right? So how do you know who to trust? How do you know who to go to? Help.
I think in general, people who don't have a stake in what you choose to do are good people.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, with certain financial advisors, if they are paid to sell you a product, then that means they're incentivized to sell you the product regardless of whether or not you need it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm not saying all financial advisors do that,
Yes.
but I'm just saying, like, just that's something to give thought to. Also, is to ask people how they make their money,
Mm,
right?
I love
So, yeah. So if a lot of times financial advisors, I don't mean to be picking on them, but it's just an easy like
that.
example. Financial advisors, they'll be like, it's like, oh, the service, there's no cost to it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a fee that's coming out of your investments that you're
Mm-hmm.
completely aware of. And then and you could be aware. It's not, I don't think they try to hide it,
Mm-hmm.
put it right in front of you. And so, it's like if you really read through the papers, and we know we discharge
Yeah.
papers with people, all the papers, we're not reading all that,
Nobody read them papers, girl.
So it'll be in there what their the fee is, 1%, 2%. And to you, that might seem like nothing now, but realistically, over time, as you're growing your wealth, that could eat up a lot of your retirement savings and investments in the future. So if someone's talking to you and you can't make clear like how they're going to make their money,
Mm-hmm.
I would steer clear of that. Another thing I find, okay, being
Yeah.
in the personal finance space for a long time, when somebody talks to me and I'm like, okay, what do you do? And I have no clue what they're saying, I'm like, goodbye.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like when you use medical jargon and the
Yes.
you don't understand what she's
To
talking
check
about.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, girl,
Because the
that's a
person
good
has to be able to explain to you on your level. This is what we do as nurses with our patients, right? Like we don't speak to them the way we learn in nursing school. You learn
yeah,
it, you teach in layman's terms. So
yeah,
if they're not willing to come down to your level,
yeah.
and like to help you understand what they're saying, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a warning sign. The
Girl.
last thing I'd like to leave with you guys is that when it comes to things like financial advice, there's a lot of like, you could do good research online now in terms of like who's good, who's not. But the best thing is probably like finding people who have the results you want and ask them how they got it.
Yes, I
And so
love it.
that can help you build your financial team.
I love it. And this is not just the result you want where people are posting a less than
Yes.
Lamborghini on Instagram.
Yes.
But they literally have, the money in the bank.
Yes. And people around you that you can see,
Yeah,
okay? Because the
yeah.
people online now, half of them ain't real. We have
Yeah,
AI now making people.
nice. Yeah, they're standing in front of plane and it's in
Yep.
there. Yeah, girl. You're right. And you know what? Like Ashley, she's saying this is so important. And Aisha, hey girl. She say thanks for the information.
You're
And
welcome.
Kimberly says boundaries needed around money and entrepreneurship. Stop saying yes to unpaid work.
Yes.
Ooh, talk about that. Yes, Kim. Yes. Your expertise has value. Yes, yes, yes.
Yep.
And then she said she's going. She said set a budget for your dreams as you step
Yes.
into entrepreneurship. Decide what you will and will not spend to grow your vision. Every investment should align with your purpose and have a clear return. Where were you
Absolutely.
guys when I needed you?
Intentionality, I feel like, is the key throughout all these, right? And I think that that's one thing that is missing a lot with how people manage their money is
Yeah,
lacking intentionality. Like we do a lot because we're busy, and especially the women, like we're wearing so many hats that
yeah,
this could feel like some people like another task, another thing to do, and it's
yeah,
like I'll worry about that later. I'll worry about that later, because the kid is running around right now, and the bills are probably right there,
yeah,
and then the job is calling you right now. And so
yeah,
like this money thing, it's not calling you, you
yeah,
just swipe your card and you keep on moving about your life.
yeah.
So I think
Absolutely.
that like being intentional is something that has to be worked on when it comes to our personal finance.
Absolutely, absolutely. She said something here. I'm gonna put it up. She said, protect your energy as much as your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Just because something might bring in money doesn't mean it's worth your time. Boundaries help you say yes to work that aligns and no to work that depletes. Girlfriend is definitely talking my language. You know, and this is something that I talk about when I do my classes, and I'm going to talk to you about it. That the link between finances and emotional well-being.
Yes.
So many people talk about the mental health of nurses, but what about that emotional strain that we take in? And then
Yes.
that emotion just come out in food and finances.
Mm-hmm. So I think that what's the name? There's like two ways of looking at it. One is when your money's doing poorly. This means that you have stress, usually. Some people can't even sleep. Some people have anxieties. And that's on top of the fact that life is going to do all that stuff anyway, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm,
And
mhm.
then on the other end, one of the things that I found so fascinating about my personal finance journey, which I was not expecting, is the level of stress and anxiety that decreased. Because I wasn't particularly stressed about money when I started improving my finances. I was like, oh, things could be better. But when things came about, like for example, when my in the condo we're in, when we first moved in, they said that we would have an elevator assessment. They're gonna, repair our elevators. And
Mhm.
year after year came and nothing ever happened. They said it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Then finally, one time the letter came and it was like, we need to make a decision within a month. And the decision was to either pay $9,000 all in one lump sum,
Uh-huh.
or you could do it as a loan. But when I did the calculations, it would be about 12,000 or more if I had done that. And the ability to sit and not fret about where the money was coming from was
Uh-huh.
something I was just like, wow, like I didn't realize like this is kind of a great side effect of getting your money together, like to be able to make the decision not on, oh man, like is this gonna disrupt like our way of life? Is this like, no, there's money set aside here. We can decide now based on where we are with our finances, which option is better for us without the heaviness that might come with the decision that's heavy.
Yes, I love this, Prisca. I love this work that you're doing. I just really hope that this podcast just really goes out on the internet for all nurses, but women,
Yes.
especially good-hearted women who they're working so hard. And it's like, do you know your money needs to work as hard, if not harder than you?
Yes.
Do you know what the rule of 72 is? Do you
Yep.
know how compound interest works? Like, this is things that we just want to make you aware so you can work a little easier. Because we talk
Mm-hmm.
about burnout in healthcare, but if we don't know how money works, you will be burnt out. No
Yes.
matter how much deep breathing Casey doesn't teach you. You will burn out because you got bills to pay, you know?
Yep.
So I definitely appreciate you being here. Kimberly is on fire in the chat. But before I get to the chat, I want to use our last few minutes because I wanted to do some rapid fire questions with you.
Okay.
Okay. So this is for those who are looking. This is a new thing I'm going to put in, and I'm going to put it in because this is my last live stream. Because poor Casey is not really good at multitasking. So I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't talk to the people in the chat. And then I'm trying to talk to the host and I'm like all over the place. So starting next week, it will all be pre-recorded. But please put your comments because I will be there live responding to your comments. But this is our last live. So I just want to just give them a heads up. Every Sunday, 4 p.m., we are here on LinkedIn. Okay. So rapid fire questions. Let's go, Prisca. You ready?
Yes.
It's just gonna be fun, okay?
Yep.
Okay. So what advice would you give your younger self starting out in nursing?
I would say, lean on your fellow nurses. I think that especially there's a lot of chit chat and this stuff exists, but like about like how nurses like they're kind of catty or that they don't support each other or like when you're young, you're gonna, nurses eat their young and all that. And I'm like, and not to say that's not real, but you can find people to create connections with so that they can help you out, and be a support system for you as you grow into your career.
Love it, love it. What's the deepest or most profound lesson you've learned in the past 10 years?
Okay, this is kind of unrelated to really nursing and money coaching, but this is something I learned in therapy, and I think that's made such a big impact on me, is that two things can be right at once. And where like someone having an opinion about something and mine being different does not mean that one of us is wrong.
We gonna have you back. If money, time, and bureaucracy weren't an issue, what changes would you make in healthcare?
I love seeing this because my thing that irks me the most about healthcare is insurance companies getting to dictate what our care should be.
Mhm.
And I actually just recently had reposted someone whose cancer care was denied by, I think, United Healthcare, or it could have been someone else. They're all the same to some degree. And the audacity to me that a doctor could say this person needs this medication and the insurance company says no is like wild to me. I can't even believe that a first world country runs like this when it comes like I just don't understand. But that is the thing that I would like.
You would fix
They
it.
need to go.
Love it. Love it. If you had to choose another profession outside of nursing, what would it be?
This to me was hard because I don't think there's any better profession. Okay.
You
But
know we love you, girl.
because there's so much variety in what we could do. I'm like, the things that I've done over my career, I'm like, I don't think there's any career like this. And there's still so many things I haven't done. If I wanted to, I could. So, okay, we'll take that. All right. So if I were to choose something else right before nursing, I think one of the things I considered doing was being a teacher. It's very similar to me in the sense I just love educating and teaching people. And so therefore, I think teacher would be, I don't know where I'd be teaching because I feel like there's a lot of nuance and pay issues and stuff there too. But teaching, I think, would be where I would be.
You a social service girl. You like with the people. Love it. Love it.
I tell people I would love helping people just cross the street. Like I just love helping people.
That's why I love nurses. You have such a good heart. Oh my gosh. I love you. Love you, love you, love you. Okay. Now, this is a little bit in the nursing. What is the number one skill you wish you had, you wish all nurses had?
I think I was trying to find the word for this, but something more like in the terms of like teamwork, right? I feel like when nurses, like let's say, the whole thing of like transferring patients to a different floor, even transferring patients to one level of care to another, sometimes the animosity or stuff that happens there, I'm like, oh my God, like this is not useful, So I feel like the more we could bring like that, we're all trying to benefit the patient would be ideal. I feel like it just makes things so much smoother. And also too, where we could feel comfortable, like let's say, like I know for me as a navigator, I'm constantly like calling this team or that doctor or this person about, hey, I feel like this was missing something. Like, can you clarify this? And like not be like, well, you guys did. Like, listen, we're all here for the patient. So let's try to keep that mindset.
Yes. Doctors don't have that too much. Nurses, we kind of get territorial, like it's my stuff. I like that. What do you want your legacy or your impact to be in nursing and in finance?
Empowering people. One of the things that made me switch to navigation from the bedside was seeing patients who had medications for like hypertension or they were on blood thinners and they didn't have any clue what they were for. And that like, oh man, like I want more time with these people. So that way, when they have questions, they can come to me. They know what's going on. They feel like they have a support system. They feel like there's someone that is there for like all their wants and needs, So that's why I think that's why I went into navigation. On the flip side, when it comes to money, I think that so many people, especially women, are not confident when it comes to their money. And there's no reason for it, in my opinion. We are very capable people. We do very hard things all the time. And so that's why like my kind of branding is like where money is like made simple, like where you don't need to know all the things. I feel like sometimes maybe we feel that way. Like we need to know all these things. We hear all these concepts and I don't understand all of it. So I'm going to understand none of it. I'm like, nope, we could start here and we could keep it simple. Like there's a lot of things I could be doing with my money, but I choose to do this. And I don't really want to do a lot more. I don't want my life complicated. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. You don't have to do all the things.
Yep.
I love empowerment. That's powerful. What's the biggest takeaway every nurse should understand about how money works?
Yes. I would say the biggest, if you were to think about your, let's talk about work benefits. There's a lot of things there that can help you save money if you take real advantage. When people do open enrollment and they don't even look like, they just kind of do what they did last year, I'm like, ooh, it makes me cringe. I'm like, let's think about what our life might look next year and see how we could optimize our benefits here. Like, hey, your FSA or your HSA, like, can you be putting more towards that for your expenses? You could, if you have, like, in the FSA's covered a lot of different things besides just like medical care. They cover our women's products. They cover sunscreen. There's a lot of things that you could use it for, and this is pre-tax money. But
Girl, people daycare. I saw that.
Yes, they have that. Some people have FSAs too for transportation, for parking. Like, listen, this is money before taxes, so that's before the man takes it out, and then it also makes your taxable income less. I don't want to make this too fancy for the people who's like, this is overwhelming, but basically, it makes you keep more money in your pocket. Okay.
I love it. This is wonderful. So your benefits, the benefits, open enrollment benefits. And I know a lot of nurses, I just did a retreat, a lot of nurses had questions about that. I tell you, you're coming back. And Casey got questions. Let me keep going. What advice would you give to a nurse who's up to their eyeballs in debt and living paycheck to paycheck?
So first off, do you care that you're up to your eyeballs in debt? Because I don't tell anybody to do anything if they don't really want to. Okay, that's important to me, that you have buy-in, that you want your situation to change, and then we could discuss that. So then, now let's just say you have decided that you are sick of being up to your eyeballs in debt, and that you're sick of living paycheck to paycheck. What I say first is really, again, take stock of where you are now, and then create a vision for what you want. And because without the vision, it's very challenging to do anything and maintain the things, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been the person that didn't have a vision for my money. And that's where I was like, okay, savings, we were okay, middling kind of up until now. Now it's like, oh, I actually want my money to do something for me. I have a goal of not working if I don't want to, so that has made it so that I can stick to my budget because I have a purpose for it besides just doing it because I'm supposed to.
Yes, intention. Powerful. Powerful. Now, do you have any special advice for single parents or one-income households?
So it is more challenging, but the advice is pretty much the same as everyone else, is live within your means, live below your means, actually, and then invest the rest. Save and invest the rest. And so there might, you kind of have to get sometimes very creative in how you're doing it because you're a single income household, but I think some of the money principles are very similar. So for example, when my husband and I bought this place, we intentionally bought it hey, if one income were to cease to exist, could we still afford this? So you would have to make money decisions like that. But hey, if half my income disappeared, could I still afford this? Right. This will help, even though that might seem impossible right now, depending on your situation now. But I wanted you to think about that with money decisions going forward, so because it makes life unnecessarily heavy if your household expenses are eating half of your paycheck off rip, and then it's more than half your paycheck. So these are things that we want to be more intentional about instead of just making decisions because sometimes a lifestyle change happens. You have a kid and it's like, oh, I need a car. Oh, I needed this. And it's it could make it even harder for you being a single income household.
It's true. Thank you. What advice would you give to nurses in other countries where salaries aren't very good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what their goals are, but I think essentially the money principle is the same, which I think is what I like about how I manage money. It's it doesn't vary too much based on the person. It's live under your means. Yeah. So whatever's coming in, you need to find a way to put your life below that. So that way you can build wealth. so that way you can save the extra money and do that. And sometimes I don't know what it takes in different countries. I don't want to assume like what their situations are, but it could be that you do work a little bit more so that you can save and invest something. It could mean that you're cohabitating with people instead of having your own home. Like these are all these things that don't just apply to other countries. They could apply here too. I think here we're used to like, oh, you get to a certain status. Like me, I graduated from nursing school. Oh, I get a car.
Yeah.
What happened to the car I was using? I don't even know.
So we're gonna talk about that.
So I think just making intentional decisions about how we're gonna get ourselves to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I just want to say I had a question here, and I think anybody watching this, they definitely know the value that you have to give. But the question was, what transformation can someone expect when working with you as a money coach?
So one is more confidence when it comes to your money. I think that based off my client reviews and such, they have shared how maybe they felt a little stupid when it came to money. They felt like they didn't know where their money was going. And then after I create a plan with them, like they just, first off, during the session itself, I empower them like, hey, you just because you don't know something, it's a skill, right? Like a lot of women have children. Okay. And I'm like, if your kid were to say like they can't walk, like when they first come out, right? They can't walk. You're going to call them stupid for not being able to do it? No. Like it's a learned skill. So it's the same way with money. Like most, like especially our generation did not get formal education when it comes to money. We had to figure it out ourselves, where we watched people who maybe didn't manage their money well, like how they did, and that's how we learn. So for those people, I'm like, listen, it's okay to not know. I'm so happy you're here because you're willing to learn. And let's go take care of that.
I love it. You make it so digestible for anybody.
That's the goal.
Prisca, I love you, my sister. Thank you. You are a nurse at heart. I know you will be back, definitely. Ashley, Kim, and Aisha, everybody listening on the recording, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Prisca. I love, love, love what you had to share. How would someone reach you if they are like, I need to talk to her yesterday? How would they find you?
Well, I'm very active here on LinkedIn. So you can look at my past posts. You can see what resonates for you. And then, you can message me easily here. There's links to book a call on my profile as well. And the call is free. It's just a chat to see like, hey, are we a good fit to work together? Are our goals aligned? Because I don't do certain things when it comes to money. My main thing is to help you take your money picture, make it clean, and then help you create a plan that you can implement over and over and over again without having to adjust every month.
I love it. And I love what you're doing. I love the work that you're doing. If you're looking at this and you're in my community, September the 20th, I have a financial class that I do, hybrid and in person. So if you want to join, just reach out to me. And if you didn't catch everything that Prisca said, the replay for this will be on YouTube. On my YouTube channel, it's called The Spark is Love. And please subscribe, help us to support my channel. And like I said, Meet the Experts. This is a new podcast. And we are just here every Sunday, 4 p.m. live. So thank you to the guests. Thank you so, so much, Prisca. And I will see you next time. Stay on.
Casey.